All right, everyone. Welcome back to the State of the Lakers podcast. I'm your host, Mateo. Lakers just had a game against Milwaukee Bucks at Staples Center where they lost 112-97. First game of Andre Drummond's Laker career. Sadly, Drummond didn't make it past the first half because he got a big toe contusion. What happened was the nail on his left big toe broke off. And what a weird-ass injury and what a depressing injury saga for the Lakers. They just keep getting guys to come down, and this one isn't even like because Drummond hadn't played since February. This isn't even like I'm rusty. This is just like a freak kind of thing to happen. But to talk about the game, to talk about Drummond's little debut with us is a real smart, funny dude I met through Lakers Twitter called Alex. How's it going, my man?
Good. How are you? Good to be on finally.
I'm in better. I wanted to have a good game from Drummond tonight, man. And I didn't expect us to get the win, but I would like to see some potential. But what did you see from the game tonight, man? What did you think of what the Lakers did as a whole?
Well, the first quarter we had, a quarter of Lakers defense, and we normally save that for the third and fourth quarter. And we made some open threes. We made some not open threes. On top of that, Wesley had a couple where the defender was right in his face and he just drained it. As far as Andre Drummond, he moved well laterally. He had that missed lob. Going into him joining the team, and I've been checking out a few podcasts and people who have watched him more than I have this season, and they say that he's not as explosive as he has been in years past, which is it looked to be, at least vertically, it looked to be true with him missing that lob, because this is a guy that's done dunk contests, or at least one dunk contest in the past. He's a big-time athlete. But there were things that I liked. I mean, the block that he got that on his second jump. The second jump looked quick.
Yeah.
He set some really solid screens. He's a big dude, man. And when he gets down to set that screen, he makes contact. I think he made contact on every single one that I made a point to watch. But again, it's the sort of performance that we got from him tonight was right on brand with what I expected, at least. This is the sort of guy that you're going to have to feed. We need him in those pick and rolls, in the dunker spot, with Schroeder and with LeBron and handling the ball. It's not going to, when you throw him the ball and ask him to get the bucket, it's hit or miss. It's most.
Yeah, there were a few situations where they threw him the ball trying to see if he could get a bucket, and I was like, "Oh boy, here we go!"
Mm-hmm.
There's a good 15 to 18 feet between him and the hoop, and I'm like, "Oh, where's this going to go?" Yeah. I think he might have gotten one layup out of that, but when you said he's going to be somebody you got to feed, that's 100% true, and we didn't really have the guys to feed him tonight. Schroeder's kind of our main guy in terms of ball handling while LeBron is out, but he's still got a ways to go in that department. And Drummond himself, I thought just having a big body in there, just he's our biggest guy now, man. Just vertical and horizontal, his length, everything, dude. Even though he didn't even grab that many rebounds tonight, I think he was only had one or two or something like that. But just him being a big guy down in the paint, that led to him boxing out another big guy like Brook Lopez. And then Kyle Kuzma has a much bigger window to get the ball, because otherwise he would have been trying to half box out Brook Lopez. So him just not totally accruing the stats tonight, but making his presence felt on that end. I definitely saw that too. There was a couple plays where Giannis hit him with the pump fake and he bit, and then he just went under him, dunked on him. I just thought, AD wouldn't have bit on that pump fake. And then I thought he's got a little ways to go in terms of he needs to go to the Frank Vogel Defensive Academy, man. I would wish we got him at the beginning of the year. I wish we got him at the beginning of the year and wish we got more time for Frank to work on him. But we got 20 games left, and let's see what Frank can do with him, man.
Yeah, 28 games left.
Is it 28 regular season?
Well, no, 27, I believe.
I thought it was more around close to 20.
We've got more. There's 72 games this season. How many have we played? I'll look it up.
I think it was we're 30 and 18 now. Yeah, dude, that first quarter in this game, though, high energy. We were really defensively cohesive. We were hitting some threes. I thought I was getting excited, dude. I thought we could actually steal it. And then
Yeah.
That second quarter comes, our 3-point shooting dies, and then I text you and I say, hey, dude, we're looking pretty good. I'm not mad about this at all. And you're like, yeah, those are going to be all the threes that you said. That's going to be the last set of threes that we hit for the night.
Yeah, man. They come in bunches for this team, particularly for Wes.
Yeah.
It was just the sort of shots that we were making. I was watching them go in and saying to myself, there's just no way we're going to be able to keep this up for the remainder of the
And
game.
it sucks we can only do it for one fucking quarter because like teams will go like 3 quarters where they get hot. But this current iteration of the Lakers, man, it's like, what a great quarter. Well, that was fun. I guess we're going to have to figure out a different way to score points now. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That second. Oh, go for it.
You text me about Kuz and how good he looked early, and he had it going. He particularly the jump shot, and I was thinking, we might get 40 from Kuz. We haven't had one of those games all season.
We haven't had a big Kuz explosion in I don't know how fucking long, but yeah, we haven't had just a big Kuz game in a minute, man. Yeah. But second quarter, man, the 3-point shooting just died. Nope, Mark didn't even play in the first half, and I think all the Laker heads were kind of scratching their heads. What do you think when you saw that Frank hadn't brought him in yet?
It made me nervous. I sort of got the cold chill, go down my spine into my stomach, like, oh no, he's gonna try to give him a DNP, like because.
So we about to see some dumb coaching, yeah.
Yeah, well, there'd been some chatter ever since we picked up Drummond and they made the signing official that. The Lakers might potentially buy Mark out, or Mark could be sort of phased out of the rotation. I didn't want to believe it, but not seeing him get a shift at all in the first half, I was sort of like, oh no, is this the way it's going to go for this guy? Yeah. Because I've been defending Marc Gasol all season long. He's
day one Gasol defender right here, front lines.
He's very highly rated as far as his defensive metrics. Offensively, he's not much of a threat, but he does a lot to help this team. He's an excellent passer. He's better than I thought. And I knew that was something that he brought to this team, when we picked him up this summer. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking you can get him 15 to 18 minutes here and there. I mean, but where is the here and there where are those minutes going to come from? Markieff has been playing great the last games. And Vogel loves him. Even if he's playing bad, Vogel goes to him. But it's a challenge. It's one of those, well, at least in the beginning of the season, it's one of those good problems. With 24 games left and your stars are out and you're trying to beat the bad teams and sneak into the playoffs or avoid getting passed up by Dallas and those dangerous teams that are below us in 7th and 8th. It's sort of more from one of those good problems to just a problem. If Vogel can't figure out, how to get guys incorporated and still keep them in a rhythm.
There were a lot of moments during the regular season last year where it's like, especially lineup related, where it's like, what is Vogel doing? Why is he running this? And then when the postseason came around, it seemed like most of the time he was making the right decisions in terms of starting and, when to play the bigs and whatnot. So I have taken the mindset like, oh, this is all, they're treating it like a practice run because they're not getting practices right now. But these weird lineups and the thing with Mark and, hoping how is he going to get minutes and are they going to buy him out? That'd be really stupid if they bought him out because now the rotation of AD, Trez, Mark, and that who am I forgetting? I'm kind of having a brain fart. Anyways, our big rotation, both ends of the floor. That's an amazing rotation. It covers, it just covers every kind of need you want on offense. If you want some spacing and you want that elite rim protection, you can go AD at the 4 and then Drummond at the 5. And especially if Drummond gets a little bit better with, you have Frank, but you also have AD who can teach him a ton because he was Defensive Player of the Year worthy player last year. In my opinion, he probably should have won it. His decision making on the defensive end, the way he covers up for people, and how he lets guys like Alex Caruso and KCP go extra aggressive on the perimeter because they know AD's behind him. that just makes all the difference in the world. He's our defensive captain, man. And I have been impressed with how we've kind of kept the ship overall steady, even with our defensive captain out. But under no circumstances should we let go of Marc Gasol, man. Frank has to find a way to make this work. He's got the big idea has been go for it.
Have you heard that the Clippers are looking into signing DeMarcus Cousins?
I did, yeah. I thought that already went down. Maybe not.
That is, I haven't seen it like officially. I've just seen that.
Maybe you're right.
I guess so. It says pending him clearing the COVID protocols. I guess so. Mm-hmm. It is official. But that signing is a direct response to the Lakers signing Andre Drummond, because our front court is too big, too athletic for them now. And particularly if we fall a little bit in the standings, as it looks like we're going to before LeBron and AD come back, we could end up seeing the Clippers in the first round and sending them home early.
That'd be mighty interesting, man. I'm gonna park my ass on Twitter for 2 days straight if that happens. Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, that would make glorious. The pain that we're experiencing now, having to watch these games, that would make it all worth it.
I know, but the pain we're experiencing now, I want to believe, and I feel like it's going to be better for our role players in the long run. It's going to make them a little more self-sufficient. If Bron isn't in the lineup and during a playoff game, if AD's in, but maybe he's not scoring, maybe they'll think, oh, how can I make this shit happen right now? I think these reps will be good, but it's a pain period, man. It's a growing period. Mm-hmm. They got to go through the shitty shit to realize, oh shit, these are my flaws, and it's very apparent, and I got to work on them. So I do kind of try to keep the optimistic long view of it, because it's the schedule being so compact, and then not having our star players in to kind of vibe with this new team too. I do wonder how it's going to take effect in the playoffs. We'll have that one key month where LeBron and AD are back. Hopefully it's a month worth of games that they can just re-gel with the team and then ramp up. Do you have any concerns with the Lakers in terms of, like getting ready for the playoffs? Is there anything like you got your eye on or something on your mind?
Well, there's one or two things. Our backcourt depth, KCP, I've defended him all season as well. It's the guy.
Same here. I'm with you on that.
The first 2 months of the season, he finished shooting 50% from three, and this return back to the mean. It's been, the ball just rolled straight off the table for him. I mean, we knew he wasn't going to finish the season at 50% from three, and he's still hovering around 39 right now, despite shooting 30% for January and February. But I believe that he will get it turned around. I would like to see it happen sooner rather than later. He had a good game last week. I can't remember which one, but
he did. It might have been that Cavs game or the one before.
Yeah, where we were like, oh, KCP's back, and then he went back to missing all the shots. But
yeah, it seems like that happens with every player. KCP will like have a quiet 18 points, hit like 4 threes, and then like nothing the next game. And then same thing will happen with Kuzma, even West, man. So yeah, with these Lakers, I'm worried about. I think I'm officially worried about our 3-point shooting, because I've been defending KCP's ass like for a long time too. Most of this year, I've been like, guys, he won us a championship. He came up huge when it mattered, but he's been in a slump for a while now, man. And I still believe in him to turn it around, but he's supposed to be our best shooter. And if guys like Wesley Matthews aren't going to hit threes and Caruso is going to start hitting threes more, we do need that 3-and-D guy in the buyout market. But I don't know if one guy is going to be able to correct our whole 3-point shooting as a team, dude.
Right.
Is the 3-point shooting, has that been concerning you at all in terms of like our playoff, potential?
I mean, we won the title last year with an equally poor shooting team. And we picked up our buyout or our end of season pickups last year. I mean, Drummond is better than Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith put together. So I feel more comfortable, even if we leave that roster spot open, or if we end up with a guy like Avery Bradley or whoever. I feel more comfortable with our end of season pickups this year than I did last year. One thing I do want to talk about is Alex Caruso. Like, this is a guy who's been in this situation before with bad Lakers teams. He was a part of that young core with Ingram and um, Kuzma, D'Angelo. Well, D'Angelo was there for 1 year. The young guys that were struggling to win games when the Lakers were, counting ping pong balls every summer. And there was he went off 1 week. He averaged, I think, 16 points a game. He had a 30-point game. And this was, I think, 2015, 2016.
I remember that stretch.
Yeah. And we were looking at him like, hey, this guy's, a capable offensive player. And the sort of excuse that we were giving him this year was he's got so many guys in front of him who get to eat first. He still, even if he still has that offense in his game, he doesn't know when to bring it out. Well, this is the time, and we haven't seen it. I'm a little concerned. I wonder if he might be dealing with, a little bit of an injury. I know he had the concussion, but maybe something like what happened to Danny Green last year when his hip was bothering him, but it wasn't bad enough for him to miss games, but it was bad enough to.
And we never even heard about it all year, too.
Yeah.
Like that was a freaking secret, that Danny Green hip injury.
Something like that with Caruso, and why we haven't seen his offense.
It could be. I really don't rule out little nicks and bruises affecting guys, just because the offseason was so short and all the reasons that people talk about, day in, day out. I wouldn't be surprised about that. But yeah, you bring up a good point, how in that bad stretch of games where I think we were in the lottery, or maybe it was after I think he also had another good stretch when first year LeBron was here, but then, he goes out and then he comes back not healthy. We lose a bunch of bullshit games and we miss the playoffs. But I think Caruso gets some more minutes at the end of that year too, and he has some big 20-point games. Where is that Caruso? It's kind of like rookie Kuz too, where it's like he was showing a bag his rookie year, and you said something earlier that kind of it's like they don't know when to bring it out. It's like they might still have this moves, but they have a new role on the team, but they don't know when to bring it out. Sometimes it seems like these opportunities are here for the guys, but they'll get the ball on the perimeter and they'll make a move and it doesn't work, and so they just kind of give up. They're just like, oh shit, I guess that didn't work. Yeah. And then when Bron was in, it's like you have Bron right next to you, so you're like, oh, he's LeBron, he can make a better play than me. I'll just pass it back to him, and then I'll just cut. I'll try and make something happen. But shit, man, it's like, yeah, I wonder where our guys have shown that kind of that offensive potential that they showed when they were young, man.
Yeah, I particularly Kuzma in this stretch, we've had shifts where he's alpha Kuz and he's taking whatever shot he wants on the offensive end, and we've had stretches where he decides to prove that he's a complete player and he forces passes. We need alpha Kuz more than we need the complete player, I think, right now with LeBron and AD out.
He is taking shots, though. He is taking these threes, but they're just missing, dude. I feel like Kuz's shots are there during this run, but they're just not going in,
Well, nobody's shots pretty much are.
Nobody's shots are really,
not from the perimeter anymore.
I know. You know what's something I am concerned about? If we do get a 3-and-D guy, it'll be like, I don't know who we're going to get. I don't even know the guys that are available, really. But I'm just worried about this trend that seems to keep happening of where a guy's a good shooter. He comes to the Lakers. He's just not a good shooter anymore. And he leaves and shoot again. Danny Green, for example, shoots 45% on the Raptors, 36% for us. Now he's back up to 40 with the fucking Sixers.
Yeah. I will look this up at some point. When was the last time the Lakers had a guy finish at 40% for the season?
Probably KCP. I feel like KCP last year. He was so consistent. I'll look it up right now too.
He's hovering at right around 40 this year, like 39.7, I think. And he was, I think, 38 or 39 last year.
He was 38. Damn, he's 39 right now. That just goes to show how hot he was during his freaking hot streak, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but KCP 38.5% last year. It's a thing, man. Lakers is where shooters go to not shoot as well. I don't want to say die just because I don't want to put that bad energy out there. But It's like where shooters go to dip their percentages. But
and it has nothing to do with Staples Center in particular, because guys like Steph and Clay come in and bust our asses every single, and Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, 3 or 4 times a year. So I have no idea what about.
I was looking at our team shooting numbers. As bad as we shoot, as bad as we're shooting this year. So what do you think our ranking is out of all the teams in terms of 3-point percentage?
26th. That's my guess.
I would have guessed that too. I looked it up. We're 23rd. So we're not bottom 5. Still not great.
See, we were 26th at the end of the regular season last year. So we're still on pace for a team that won the NBA title.
You know what? I was looking at teamrankings.com and I looked up 1920 season. It says we were 21st actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we are still the point still stands. We are in range of that championship level, at least for us, 3-point shooting when you have LeBron and AD. So I saw that and I kind of got like, okay, it looks bad right now. Also, guys aren't getting as clear of shots because we don't have that same level of passer and LeBron, setting the pass up for them, putting it in their spot. And also just the turnovers are crazy right now. I want to talk a little bit about our boy THT too, man. Okay. All the growing pains are in full view right now with THT, dude. I took him in fantasy. I thought, he'll get shots tonight. Still no LeBron, still no AD, but nah, man, it was just a turnover machine. The defensive issues are still there, especially off ball. It's just growing pains right now, man. But you do wonder what he's going to look like come playoff time. This is probably the best thing that could happen for him. Get as many reps as possible, give him a little more responsibility so we can kind of see. But it's a different game when the playoffs come around, man. Rotation will be tighter. I do wonder what he's going to be able to do in the playoffs for us. But that said, I'm still glad that we held on to him versus, trading it all for Kyle Lowry, because I thought that was just too much depth, man. What do you think of that potential trade, by the way?
I am glad that we didn't make the trade for Kyle Lowry. Nothing against Kyle Lowry. He's a fantastic player. He's the best player, well, the greatest player in Raptors history. But that's a lot. It wasn't – we're getting criticized, or at least Rob Pelinka is getting criticized for not throwing THT in that deal. But it wasn't THT for Lowry straight up. It was our entire starting backcourt. And
our entire starting backcourt, people,
yeah.
Yes.
and then THT on top of that.
And then a pick, too, I think.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, we don't have a first that we can trade until 2027, and the full details of the offer haven't been made public. But everything that I've seen says there was probably some draft compensation in there, too.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it was too much for that kind of guy. He's hurt now, by the way. Lowry's got something going on with his foot.
Another toe injury, coincidentally. I think it was like an infection, though. But yeah, that was kind of validating too. So it's like, shit. Well, if he ain't even healthy, then what do you know?
And our fans are pretty upset with Dennis and his contract situation. The fact that he appears to be holding out for the most money that he can get, and it's a whole bunch of he's not worth that much. Well, you wanted to trade him for Kyle Lowry. I'm a little bit older than a lot of the Lakers fans that are vocal online. I can remember when Kyle Lowry was the same sort of player, thought of as the same sort of player as Dennis is now.
Yeah,
he was not a star. He was sort of a borderline. This guy can, be solid for you on both ends, but he's not going to carry the load. And who's to say that Dennis Schroeder won't become thought of like a borderline all-star? He's 27 years old. Who's to say if we lock him up for 4 years, he won't become that player for us?
I had a similar thought like that too, actually. I was just thinking of Schroeder and Lowry and kind of along the same train of thought as you. I'm like, well, I remember when Lowry was on the Rockets and people were like, can he run a team? Is he going to be a star? How much do you really want to pay for him? Oh, that's the same shit we're talking about with Dennis right now. And between him being a Rocket and an early Raptor, there was a lot of pain involved. There was a lot of early exits. There was a lot of, playing shitty in the playoffs. And then Cat, years had to pass. He had to go through some things, but
they threatened, when he was in Toronto, they threatened to blow it up every year. They lost to LeBron for like 4 or 5 years in a row, and they threatened to blow it up every year. And and when I say blow it up, I mean their backcourt with Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. And eventually, when they were able to get Kawhi and LeBron went to the West, and they broke through, made the finals, and lost to a superior team that was very much injured. But it was those kind of growing pains when he was on the Rockets and on the Raptors, to where he was hearing his name in trade rumors, either him or his backcourt mate DeRozan, for 4 or 5 years. And here we are now with the same shit with Dennis Schroeder. It's too early for all this, but you've probably seen me. You follow me and Eric Pincus. You've probably seen me asking Eric Pincus like cap related or CBA related questions regarding this summer and Schroeder's situation.
Yeah.
It's just something I think about when I'm bored. I can't help myself. Like I will be in bed trying to go to sleep, and I'll roll over and go, you know what? Maybe we can do this. And I'll ask Eric Pincus, and he's gracious enough to answer. That guy, he's great.
Eric's great. He's a super nice dude. The trials and tribulations of a capologist, man. I mean, honestly, the numbers and thinking of the taxes just bore me too much. So I don't go to bed thinking at night of like, well, what if we got the fucking mid-level luxury? I'm grateful that I don't have those thoughts of at night. But the situation with Dennis is interesting, man.
Yeah. I can memorize the rules, but the numbers, like Bobby Marks put up a video on his Instagram regarding the Lakers and what they're going to do or what they'll be able to do with Andre Drummond after the season. And he knew the cap projection and what the tax line was going to be and what the hard cap would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how on earth? Like, these are 9-figure numbers, and every one of them is different. And none of them are even numbers.
None of them are even numbers. It always ends in a 3. And there's a 7 and a 5 and a 9. Like, just give me some fucking zeros. God damn it.
Like, how do you know this shit?
I know. What's really crazy is people can teach it to themselves. Like the CBA, I think, is publicly available. You can, and I've tried. You can read this boring ass, long, dense document.
Yeah, dude.
And
it looks like lawyer speak. It's written in lawyer language.
It's complete 100% lawyer language. And if you want to, look at it and try it for yourself, good luck. And I mean, honestly, good luck to you. But yeah, dude, I wonder if Dennis and even Trez will be on the team next year, because Trez has this. I think Trez's deal is up at the end of this year, and we got him for like $9 million a year. We got a steal on him, and then now we have Drummond, who we don't know if he's going to be a long-term part of the team. This is an interesting situation with the team right now. Anyways, go ahead.
So Trez signed a 2-year deal in the last year as a player option.
Oh, okay.
It was thought that he had a big offer on the table from North Carolina, from Charlotte, and he grew up in North Carolina, and people thought that he might take that deal. I mean, when he signed with us this summer, it was a shock. Like, nobody really expected, even though he's a clutch guy, everyone thought he would go and get the bag because he's been underpaid pretty much, the last 3 or 4 years he's with the Clippers.
We got so used to shitting on Trez too as a Clipper. We're like, yeah, fuck that Clipper bitch. That's right. He's like, oh, welcome to the team. Sorry, Trez. Anyways.
Yeah. Like scrolling back years into your timeline, delete.
Yeah, I know, for real.
Yeah. And so Trez, at least in my opinion, we don't know what he's going to do, obviously, but in my opinion, I think he's probably going to opt out and go chase that bag. Particularly since he was his name wound up in some trade rumors going back to Charlotte around the deadline. That offer from them, I don't know if it'll still be there or not. I don't think they will have enough cap space to make him a big offer this season.
Charlotte's kind of a surprise team too. I mean, they're just better. They got LaMelo. He's looking great, way ahead of his timeline. They're in a good situation now. Trez would kind of be like a be a luxury piece for him.
Absolutely. I think they gave his money to Gordon Hayward. That's what happened there.
Damn, they did $30 million.
Yeah.
For Gordon.
But Dennis can get more if it's a purely dollars and cents thing for him. He can get more from us than he can anywhere else because we have his full bird rights. And even a team that would have enough cap room to sign him to a max deal, the max for a non-bird free agent, which is what he would be on to another team, is lower than it would be for a free agent with bird rights. So we could offer him, I think, a deal starting at $32 million a year, and I think another team could offer him a deal starting at $29 million a year. Hopefully, it doesn't get to those high numbers, and even if it does, fuck it, it's not my money. I want him on the team.
I'm also high on him long term. I think, I just don't want to give up on players that are like 27 and shit,
Yeah.
Especially a guy like Dennis who could be pretty integral next to AD in the future. But this year is going to tell us a lot, man. I don't know if we'll have 32 million to give him, but that number will go up if he has some like playoff Rondo moments for us. Based on the stretch that we're seeing, though, you wonder, are we going to get those moments from the point guard? Who's going to be that third guy to step up? Last year it was kind of a mix of KCP, some Rondo here and there. And then overall, our defense was kind of our third star, I'd say.
Absolutely.
At the end of the year, And Dennis brings it in the defense, man. He's looking like an all defensive level player, which is another reason I'm so high on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pest, man.
He fits. He absolutely fits what
he fits with Vogel.
Identity. He gets in there and he talks shit and he aggravates, his matchup on the opposing team. And he guards you 94 feet. Nobody likes that sort of thing in the NBA. I mean, they call that a college press for a reason because you don't see it a whole lot in the league. I kind of wish he didn't guard 94 feet the entire game because I think he could play some more minutes. I think it sort of wears him out defending full court.
I think so, yeah.
All game,
and he looks really good when he's defending, next to LeBron on the perimeter. And if LeBron's trying on defense too, man, that's when it gets deadly.
Right. And in that stretch that we had after AD went down and it was just, him and LeBron, and he was sort of trying to step in and fill that role that was left by AD's absence, he was taking some shots in the big moments. Like, he doesn't look afraid of the big moments. And this is speaking to your point about what kind of player he can be in the playoffs. I think he can be that guy. I think he can get to the basket or draw a crucial foul here in the last 4 minutes of the game and win some of those games for us.
Mm-hmm. And in that Orlando game, he was actually getting to the basket and drawing fouls. In that Orlando game, that's a big reason why we kept our lead. So that was a real promising sight from Dennis. I was like, oh, I really like how he's just getting the basket, throwing his body out there, and protecting our lead essentially because shit, no one's really a reliable shot creator. But yeah, I'd like to see that more down the stretch, especially during this time, man. Let's just get Dennis to the line, man, because he can kind of hit his free throws, and that'll just be better for the team overall, man.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot has been made of the Andre Drummond signing. How much is that guy going to play in the fourth quarter of the regular season in a close game? And in the playoffs, he is an abysmal free throw shooter. Like, he got to the line once tonight, and I knew what to expect, but it didn't make it any easier to watch.
I agree with you there. I saw one bad free throw, and I was like, oh, no. Yeah. There's a couple moments where I looked, and I was like, oh, that's why he was a buyout guy.
Yeah, his stroke at the free throw line looks like Charles Barkley's golf swing. Like,
God. It is ugly, man.
And, just not fit for public consumption.
Andre's strengths are very strong, and his weaknesses are very strong too, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I have faith in Vogel, after this playoff run, especially how he turned a guy like Roy Hibbert into a defensive player of the year. Now he's got Andre Drummond to work with, and then you also got Anthony Davis in his ear, giving him defensive player of the year level tips. So I was super happy about the Drummond sign, and I'm pretty happy about, even though he might not be playing these fourth quarters much, also depending on the matchup too. But now we have that guy to throw out a big body like Jokic or Nurkic. We thought Mark was going to be that guy, and he can still do it, but that just adds to our depth, man. Our big man rotation is a real luxury right now because of that.
Right.
He's just got to get back on the damn floor. It's stupid. Who loses their toenail? That's the first time I've heard someone losing a toenail in an NBA game.
Have you been on Twitter at all since the game ended?
I haven't, no.
Mark Trudell tweeted an update. So what happened was Brook Lopez apparently stepped on Drummond's foot during the first quarter, and he was just sort of like, it hurts a little, but fuck it. The adrenaline. I'm happy to be playing. It wasn't that bad, I guess. And then it got worse and worse. And he said at halftime, he took his shoe off and he noticed his toenail was gone, completely gone.
It must have been a bloody ass sock then.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
Fuck, man. So that's how it went out. I was wondering how it would have happened. I thought someone had to step on him because I've heard of people where like you get your foot run over by a car and you lose your toenail or like it cracks or something. But hey, all it took was a Brook Lopez foot this time. Didn't even need a whole ass car. Well, I wonder what that means for how long he's going to be out. Did Mike say how long he'll be out because of it?
He didn't, but I imagine he misses a couple games. I mean that hurts. Like that area is sensitive and it is prone to infection underneath your toenail.
I know when I just clip my fingernails and I just get a little bit of skin, I'm like, ooh. But like to lose your whole fucking toenail from a Brook Lopez foot, like, bro, how long does it take? How many Laker fans are Googling how long does it take for a big toe nail to grow back? I think a lot of people are Googling that right now because that's going to determine when the fuck we're going to see Andre Drummond.
Yeah,
man.
Dude. Speaking of Lakers fans and Andre Drummond, yeah, Harrison Fagan, I texted you and told you tweeted out some praise for Marc Gasol after that shift he had in the fourth quarter, and I don't know, man. He got 12 replies, and I think 4 of them was, well, he's been better than Drummond at least.
And we're like, here we go, it's starting up.
Yeah, here we go. I mean,
and I don't think we talked about it in that fourth quarter, but dude, we might have touched on it earlier, but I mean, let's reiterate. Marc Gasol came in was not playing at all because Frank wanted to run with Drummond, and Mark came in, just the offense started working, man. People were cutting, and Mark was making a difference. I don't even think he hit a 3 or anything, but he was also kind of defending pretty well, held the paint down, got a couple stops, got a couple blocks. Mark came in, and shit, dude, we don't even need Mark to play big minutes with all our big guys now, especially when AD comes back, dude. So I think Mark definitely needs a place on this team.
Yeah, man. So that fourth quarter, he came in, and I thought, Brook Lopez is a guy that's similar in stature, similar in athletic ability, and by that I mean little to none. And I thought that would be a pretty good matchup for Mark on defense. But Mark got switched on to Giannis like 3 or 4 possessions in a row, and Giannis gave the ball up instead of driving by Mark and dunking on him, and the way that possession would play out in your imagination. Mark did his job, and that's not something that I think you want to try your luck with, having Marc Gasol and his strengths against Giannis and his strengths. But it worked out for us this time.
You'd wonder if Mark still has PTSD from that Raptors series, man. He just sees Mark and he's like, "Oh God, I can't do it." And he just gave the ball up. I think that's probably coming into play, to be honest. And Mark probably he spreads his hands out. He's like, "I got this, bitch. All right, we on the rest." I bet you there's like a little mental thing. I mean, you play against a guy for real. If you play against a guy in his whole playoff series, even if you've lost some athleticism and stuff, you still know his habits and you can still communicate to a teammate. Absolutely. Like to shadow over to that side of it or like stunt a little bit. Like you still have a strategy to play against him. So, I mean, that's just another plus of having an experienced, really smart guy like Mark on the team. Frank, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you got to do whatever it takes to keep Mark happy, dude, because he can be a real key component to, giving us an advantage in these playoff matchups. But Frank is smart, man. Whatever suggestion we could think of, he's a professional NBA coach. And even though his offense might be a little trash sometimes, LeBron's mostly our offensive engine. I still think NBA coaches have thought of the things that fans have, tweeted out or, just thought of themselves because they're fucking pros, man. There's the reason a lot of them in that position. So,
absolutely. I mean, we've got some really smart guys that are Lakers fans, guys that have podcasts of their own and turn those sort of things into jobs with the NBA, or some of them are jobs.
Shout out Laker Film Room.
Yeah. That like when Coach Pete was covering the Lakers, like when he got credentialed and was going to practices and asking the players questions, like you could sort of see the surprise in their faces, like, oh, this guy's going to talk basketball with me. It's not going to be, one of those. Oh well, how did those last 4 possessions affect you? And when you turn the ball over in the fourth quarter, like it's a real basketball. It's an X's and O's question.
Yeah,
and we've got some more guys besides Laker Film Room that can do that but the downside of that is we also have the most mouth breathers. We have the most fans of Los Angeles Lakers.
Biggest fan base,
yeah,
the widest
the biggest
range
fan base
of intellect and personalities.
Yeah, so we've got the biggest fan base, so we've got the most smart fans, and we've got the most, oh boy, the most guys that are waking up at 9 a.m. and sitting in front of Skip Bayless. And
sitting in front of Skip Bayless before they brush their fucking teeth, and they're like, God, what the fuck did Skip say now? I gotta turn the teeth on. Oh Jesus. There's if more people understood that, there'd be a lot less dumb arguments about Laker fans. Like, oh, biggest fan base, biggest amount of dumbasses, but biggest amount of smart people too. It kind of makes sense.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
Same here, man. I was born and raised. My first Laker memory was Kobe throwing the alley-oop to Shaq against Portland in 2000, Game 7. I was like 7 years old, and my dad just goes ape shit. And I'm like, I don't understand, but I'm gonna start yelling too and jumping up and down. So I guess that's how my sports fandom was created. When did you become a Laker fan, by the way?
So I grew up with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and the strange thing about being from where I'm from is back then the cable package had whatever major cities were in your time zone. So I ended up with WGN, which was the local home of the Chicago Bulls in the mid and late 90s. So I had access to every Chicago Bulls game on my TV when I was 8, 19 years old. And when Michael retired, I was just sort of, the Bulls suck now and they're not any fun to watch. Phil Jackson's gone too. I tried to hang on to the Bulls for a little bit. And when the Lakers drafted Kobe and the sort of press that he came with, because he was 17 when he was drafted, and they traded Vlade Divac for the rights to his draft choice. And, Vlade is a big man, and that's how you win the game is with big men. Him and Shaq could probably play together if they wanted to.
Fucking casuals.
Yeah, and the
little did they know.
Yeah, little did they know. And the fact that guy was the closest to my age in the NBA, and people were already counting him out, that gave me a vested interest in rooting for him. And I had no idea that I was watching a guy that would become, in my opinion, one of the 3 best ever. But damn, every year he got better. Every year he added something or 2 things to his game. And, by the time 2001 rolled around, it was undeniable who this guy was going to be. And that was it for me. I'm a Laker for life.
That's a dope ass story, man. I like you were around for just the complete rise of Kobe. I wasn't conscious of that yet because I was 7 when him and Shaq were going to the finals, so I didn't really understand fully what was going on. But you're able to see the full rise of Kobe, man. That's fucking great.
Yeah, man. I was there for the whole ride, and it was incredible. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, man. In terms of this game, I think that kind of sums up all my thoughts. Anything you want to say about this Lakers Bucks game?
Well, it went about how I thought it would. There was
really did. It was a spirited first quarter, but I agree with you, man.
It was there's some optimism with Drummond making his debut, but Drummond's here to help us beat the bad teams when LeBron and AD are out. And when
Mm-hmm.
LeBron and AD come back, he can be part of us beating the good teams. And the Bucks are a good team.
Mm-hmm. And most likely being the good teams in like the first and the third quarter, kind of like the Dwight and JaVale shifts. If he gets those shifts,
Right.
Hopefully he does. Hopefully he can be switchable and hold his own on defense. If he can make some strides there, man, yeah, he'll be in his best interest. He'll get some money. He'll be a part of a championship team, and I mean that's the reason he's here, man. He's here to win because he forfeit. I don't know how much money he forfeited in the buyout, but he forfeited money, so he made his priorities pretty straight. I'm pretty optimistic about the Andre Drummond experience still. We got the Kings on Friday. You got any thoughts about that?
That is a game that we are capable of winning, even in our current state without Bron
It would
and
be
AD.
great if we had Drummond for that ship, but with the big
I
toe, I really don't know. This would have been a perfect Drummond game.
Man, like put some gauze over that thing and tape it up. Go up a shoe size. Let's see if he can give it a go out there. Because I would love to. I mean, the Kings. Did we beat them the last time we played them or not? I remember watching that game. I don't remember the.
I really can't recall if we played him this year.
Buddy Hield went off for like 35 and we lost.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember if we really played him this year.
Yeah, it was.
But that would be something that would happen.
Yeah, it was just a couple weeks ago. Like Buddy Hield hit every 3-pointer in the second half, and we ended up losing that game, even though we were in it for most of the game.
There's always a propensity for some kind of. I was going to say bum, but Buddy Hield isn't really a bum. There's always one bum that goes off against us, though. And when you're setting like a DraftKings lineup, if you pick that bum, you're going to win some money.
Absolutely.
You just got to pick the right one.
I've been playing daily fantasy every day this week. I've won in the last 5 days, I've won $45. I will win 20 one day and then nothing the next day, but it's all managed to average out to $9 a day.
That's not fucking bad, man. I'm playing the little like $1 and $3 games, and I've won like probably $10 in the last week. So you might have to give me some tips. But anyways, I think that kind of sums it up for the show, man. You got any parting thoughts?
I will be looking at this Kings game. Well, I'll be looking at the injury report to see if Andre Drummond's going to be able to go. If he can't, it's still a winnable game. We just got to, the 3-point line. Sacramento, that's been a very roller coaster season for them. They had a stretch, early in the season where they were, I think 7th or 8th, and Luke it was looking like, oh, Luke's got this turned around, and De'Aaron Fox looked like an all-star caliber player, and then they lost like 10 or 12 in a row, and it went back to Luke's a bum, he shouldn't be coaching in the NBA. But
that was quick. That's the Luke we know.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up then, man. Thanks for coming on the show. This was great. Be glad to have you back on soon.
Absolutely. I'll come back anytime.
All right, sounds good, man. Take it easy.
All right.